Forget about what I said. Not going to help. But if you love them or if you love somebody that you're leaving it to, think of that. No death tax, no estate tax, no going to the banks and borrowing from, in some cases, a fine banker, and in some cases, Shylocks and bad people. But they took away a lot of family. They destroyed a lot of families, but we did the opposite. So just remember, to me, it's so important, and it was mostly important for.
Just remember, they're picking your pocket with one hand and waving the flag with the other. You can call it theft in red, white, and blue. Tremendous! You're fake news!
Installed in the House. One of the GOP holdouts is our next guest. Let's bring in Texas GOP Congressman Keith Self. Congressman, great to have you on the show. So you voted yes, and then you voted no, and then you voted yes again. And why the change of heart, sir? Explain that to us.
Well, there was no change of heart because we needed to make sure that we got the best bill possible.
Okay.
So we went through every permutation we could, thinking of how we would send it back to the Senate. This small group of people, who was going to be the vote that we were going to get? Frankly, there was no way ahead in the Senate. We could not do that. So then we worked with the administration to find offsets where we needed more, basically in the areas that you would think of, the Green New Scam, Medicaid, SNAP. So that is what we did. That has yet to be put out. But it's there, and we got the best bill we could with the add-ons outside of the bill, because frankly, we couldn't send it back to the Senate.
Yeah, Quickly, Fox News at Night would like to make a correction on a statement made by one of our guests last night. As Monica Page pointed out on her X account shortly after her live appearance, she misspoke when she said that Kilmar Abrigo Garcia had, quote, killed Americans. He did not. Monica apologized, and we as well do at Fox News at Night. Email. Well, Frida's ready.
Forget about what I said. Not going to help. But if you love them or if you love somebody that you're leaving it to, think of that. No death tax, no estate tax, no going to the banks and borrowing from, in some cases, a fine banker, and in some cases, Shylocks and bad people. But they took away a lot of family. They destroyed a lot of families. But we did the opposite. So just remember, to me, it's so important, and it was mostly important for.
But that's okay. I mean, big tent parties need to have room for people who do not actually align purely with every single thing that the master party says.
Scott, you can't chuckle at that because you were just talking about how big your tent was, but
I mean, their tent is so diverse that in one corner you have the socialists and in the other corner the communists.
Hey,
it's really wide.
Hey, look, you just told me.
Yeah. Why do you think he's a communist?
Because he literally uses the phrase "seize the means of production."
But that's not the distinction between socialism and communism. But I mean, we can't.
Can I just give an example of a person who has seized the means of production? It is a fascinating thing that the federal government has a stake now in a steel company. That's never happened before. It's actually Donald Trump who decided to have the federal government own the production of a company. Usually conservatives would have criticized that, but I guess it's because the cult king, we don't.
So Tom Suozzi, the New York representative.
This legislation takes health care from 17 million people.
No.
17 million people will have fewer people will have health care after this. $1 trillion from Medicaid in order to pay for tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans. You could actually just do the middle class tax cuts and not the tax cuts for billionaires, and just not do the Medicaid tax cuts and Medicaid cuts.
You know what?
And people would have agreed with that. That would have been 67%.
We're never going to agree to give.
We're never
going to agree to give Medicaid to illegal aliens. And we're never going to agree to let people sit at home, able-bodied people.
You don't have to take Mira's word on that. Take Josh Hawley's word on it.
Exactly.
I mean,
Josh,
yes, while apologizing to his constituents. Take Lisa Murkowski's word
also
on
voted for it.
Okay, who apologized to the American people for
Scott,
voting for it.
Whenever you bring up the able-bodied folks and undocumented immigrants, we're only getting to like 6 million. So you have like a whole other
There's
6
also
million.
people who are
12 million.
duplicative.
You
They're
know,
on in multiple
according to
states, and there
different,
are also
depending
people
on the
who are
estimates.
ineligible for other
I'm just saying, there are millions and millions of other people that you're not accounting for, and those people are going to be affected.
Children are going to lose coverage.
They are going to be affected. So I think some of this is about, honesty and advertising here with what's going on.
I don't think she
Capitol
should be
Hill.
dishonest about it.
You're
What's going on
right.
on Capitol
You're
Hill,
right
and
about it.
and if the Medicaid cuts are the price that Americans have to pay for tax cuts for everybody, including very wealthy people, then that should be what Republicans run on proudly. Okay?
This is one of the really great places, but I've been all over. It was hardworking citizens like you who saved our country in November 2024. Think of that, November 25th. Who would have thought there'd be this much of a change this fast? I didn't even think it would happen this fast. Happened at a level that nobody even thought possible. Again, we have the hottest country anywhere in the world.
All right, troops, the one big bullshit bill, a special Independence Day. Congratulations, America, it's July the 4th. Welcome, troops, to the big bullshit bill, because nothing says freedom, I suppose, like getting conned by a billionaire in a bad spray tan, selling you the idea that paying more for less is somehow patriotic. I'm an outside looking in. But anyway, let's talk about this big, beautiful bill. The MAGA miracle bill. Trump and his congressional lapdogs are, well, they're parading around like it's the 10 Commandments. Spoiler alert, it's not. It's not even the instructions on how to build IKEA furniture with no Allen key. It's one big pile of, well, I suppose bullshit duct tape together with lies, a little bit of racism, and the tears of bankrupt gun owners. According to them, this bill is going to save America. Translation, it's going to save the rich, probably screw the poor, and leave the middle class begging for tips on OnlyFans. Am I being sarcastic? The bill promises tax cuts for real Americans. You know what that means? The top 1% get yachts, and the rest of you get to live in your cars parked outside Dollar Tree. It's got healthcare reform too, which means if you can't afford to see a doctor, just die quietly and, well, stop being a burden. That's the plan. The Trump Care motto: if you like breathing, you should have worked harder. Sorry. And because it's the MAGA special, they threw in a little something for the base. Mandatory flag waving, gun giveaways at birth, and a $5,000, tax credit for every time you scream "woke" at a Starbucks. Meanwhile, the bill guts education so hard it makes, I suppose, Marjorie Taylor Greene look like a Rhodes Scholar, if such thing's possible. And let's be honest, she still thinks Rhodes Scholar is the name of a NASCAR driver. Oh, and the environment, forget it. According to the bill, climate change is now officially a hoax invented by, well, electric cars, I don't know. Oil companies get subsidies, you get asthma, happy Independence Day. And here's the kicker. This bill was literally written by lobbyists, not politicians, not economists, lobbyists. They're clapping like train seals while Trump yells, "We're gonna win so much." You'll be tired of winning. Don't think you're winning. Bro, you're not even in the game. You're cheering for the guy who's robbing you blind. I'm just an outside looking in. Don't shout at the screen. Because, hey, if you're MAGA, you don't need facts. You just need a bumper sticker, a Bible you've never read, and the latest drop of Trump NFTs to spend your rent money on while you rush to X, scream it and like it and all that stuff you do on social media. Freedom! Through missing teeth because the bills are too expensive. This bill isn't big, it's not beautiful, it's one big ugly scam. It's kind of the Fire Festival legislation, the Enron of politics, the MAGA midlife crisis written in legal talk. Anyway, so on this July the 4th, while they just light up the sky, just remember, they're picking your pocket with one hand and waving the flag with the other. You can call it theft in red, white, and blue. Tremendous! You're fake news!
So you've got members that are concerned about that. Then you have members that are concerned about the changes to Medicaid. I'm honestly concerned about some of the changes to Medicaid. But what we've been able to do, Sean, is negotiate a year and a half before implementation. That'll give states like Kentucky that greatly expanded Medicaid an opportunity to go in and look at their Medicaid rolls. There are people on Medicaid in America who are here illegally. They're receiving free health care. There are people on Medicaid who look like me. They're able-bodied, and they're receiving free health care. They're not working. We've got to get people, especially in states like Kentucky, who are able-bodied off Medicaid and into the private health insurance rolls working. That's what we're trying to do. Hopefully we'll be able to do that. And I think the
And we reject government discrimination and so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion mandates. They're just about washed out the window, actually. They're just about over with. We're just about finished. In this country, we believe in hard work and we believe in merit. And by the way, we're allowed to have merit. We're now back to being a merit-based system. We had a decision in the United States Supreme Court. Our country is now a country based on merit. We oppose censorship, price controls, open borders, and sex changes for children. And as you know, recently we've seen some of our political system attempting to overthrow the timeless American principles and other pillars of our liberty and replace them with some of the most noxious ideas in human history, ideas that have been proven false. Members of Congress and even former presidents have been openly embracing vile creeds such as socialism, Marxism, and straight-up communism. In New York, they're trying to elect a communist, Zoran Mamdani, the guy who wants to defund the police, take over the stores and run the stores, and have the people hand out goods. And when everything falls apart, it always does. It always works that way. It never has worked any other way. Anarchy and dictatorships prevail. This guy is a communist at the highest level, and he wants to destroy New York. I love New York, and we're not going to let him do that. Generations of Americans before us did not shed their blood only so that we could surrender our country to Marxist lunatics on the eve of our 250th year. As President of the United States, I'm proclaiming here and now that America is never going to be communist in any way, shape, form, and that includes New York City. Experiences across the park system. For this anniversary, I've just signed an executive order to raise entrance fees for foreign tourists while keeping prices low for Americans, and we're going to do that. The national parks will be about America first. We're going to take it America first for the national parks. And these are just a few of the many programs, initiatives, celebrations that will renew for our national pride. We're going to have great pride there. Through the power of sports, America 250 will also host a brand new, first-of-its-kind youth athletes. It's a competition known as the Patriot Games, and it features top high school athletes from all 50 states. It's going to be great. And this phenomenal patriotic sporting event will be nationally televised, and it will be led by our great Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., who's really doing it. He's great, and he's a little different, right? We needed somebody different. You know, autism. You go back, I guess, 18 years, 10,000, think of this, out of 10,000 people, okay? 10,000 people, and I'll go in a little different way. Right now, out of 10,000 people, 18 people don't have, they're safe. 18 people. We have a statistic on autism that's the worst I've ever seen, and he's going to change it. He's going to change it. It used to be 20 years ago, you just didn't have it. And now it's numbers that are unbelievable, where the numbers are so bad, it's got to be artificially induced, and we're going to find out what it is and when. We're going to find it out as soon as possible.
What the Senate did is unconscionable. What they did to our bill was unconscionable. I'll vote against it here, and I'll vote against it on the floor.
You're going to hear a lot about the tax cuts, but the deficit, nobody's talking about the deficit. Nobody. I got it. The tax cuts are important. We are going to get the tax cuts done in some fashion. But we cannot saddle our children and our grandchildren with an exploding national debt.
Do I like this bill? No, because I tried to take care of Alaska's interests. But I know that in many parts of the country, there are Americans that are not going to be advantaged by this bill.